Hey, good morning, folks, and happy 4th of July weekend. It's actually Monday, July 5th, up at the cabin here all weekend. It's been a fantastic weekend. It's gonna be a little hot out today. I'm just taking a walk on our land here at the cabin. Just thought I'd bring you along. We could check some things out. So, oh, here comes Hunter. Here he comes. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Yeah, Hunter doesn't like that heat. He got super tired yesterday from all the running around. That heat was beating down on him. Hey, buddy. Here he comes. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Okay. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of my plans on the property here at the cabin. So if you're just tuning in, we have this property we bought a few months ago. It's amazing. 25 acres. Got a log cabin. And about 9 acres is like open pasture land, fields, as well as the lawn around the cabin. And then the other 16 acres is wooded. So I have some plans. So here's this field. I'll kind of scan this big field here. It's just kind of thick, overgrown. Used to be part of a horse field. If you've watched any of the other videos, you saw me removing electric fence that goes all the way around this. So I've been removing that. And my idea is to really manage this land for biodiversity, improving the local ecology of this property, creating wildlife habitat, food sources, cover, and enhancing, you know, just the overall biodiversity of the property, everything from the soil to the wildlife that uses it. Plus, I'm an avid outdoorsman, so if I can bring in more wildlife to use the property, then that means more game to hunt, more sustenance, right? So deer, turkey, there's a lot of quail on this property, rabbits, so a lot of good game to hunt, as well as all the wildlife that will utilize the property that I won't be hunting. The pollinators, the birds and the bees, right? A lot of nesting sites for small mammals, birds, stuff like that. So that's kind of my overall goal with this property. So you can't see it from here. There's a road that crosses by down there. That's where one of the entrances to the driveway is. It comes up along there and goes back that way. So I planted 3 Douglas firs down there near the corner, about 30 yards from the that tree right there that's growing right at the corner of the property line. Those Douglas firs, they're fast growing. They're going to grow up and create a nice screen kind of on the corner there. So when people coming down that road won't be able to see in. It'll create a nice windbreak too for the wildlife. So to give them some nice cover. Now I also planted 2 weeping willows, which is where I'm standing right now. So they're bare root. So they don't look like much right now, but I got these 2 weeping willows. There's one down there. We'll go take a look at that. And I kind of have them right at the top of the field because, again, these weeping willows, they grow fast too. They're pretty hardy, and they create that nice big open, you know, swaying branches. They'll create some nice screening too for this field. So when they start to grow up, you know, wildlife will feel more comfortable if they have cover, if there's good screening material. So I actually got these 2 weeping willows on sale, and I barely paid anything for them. So I'm like, yeah, why not? They're great, fast growing trees. So I got them planted up here. So here's the other one. Again, it's bare roots. There ain't much happening. I just planted them a week ago. Old Hunter helped out. And the property line on this side runs right up here. You can kind of see where this tree is. That's right where the property line. It runs up to that telephone pole. And then it runs way down that way through the woods. So these 2 will be up here about 40 yards apart. And I'm going to plant more up here. I'm going to plant switchgrass patches for habitat for the deer and the turkey. I'm going to have trails cut around. And then the property boundary right over here, you can see that white house way out in the distance. The property line from here is about 100 yards. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the green giants, those thujas, arbor vitaes. Those things create a wall, and that'll completely screen out the neighbor from seeing deer on my property. But again, it's going to create that nice cover. The deer are going to like it. They're going to feel more comfortable out in this field. Nobody will be able to see them long distance. And I'm also going to plant some more stuff down in that corner there, really kind of fill that in nice. So it not only looks nice, but it'll create nice screening, nice cover. And then there'll be trails kind of winding throughout this property. Now I'm also going to do orchards, some orchards, you know, apples and pears and things like that. Probably small orchards around the properties, good food sources. I don't know if I'm going to do any specific food plots, because a lot of these food plots, you plant them and then after, you know, 1 year you got to replant them the next year. There is some stuff you can plant that would grow back year after year, but I don't know if I'm going to get into the whole food plot thing. There are some hidden fields on the other side of the property that would be good for a food plot, but I think for these particular fields, I'm going to do a lot of diverse stuff. I'm going to use some of the natural woody growth and cover that's growing here. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to plant some orchards and trees and screening material and cover. And I think that's going to turn out really, really nice. And I'm going to have a trail network. I'm going to have a nice network of trails throughout, right? So you can get around quietly, you can take a walk, you can ride a four-wheeler, whatever, it'll look nice. So that's my plan thus far. You could see this field used to be cut for hay, so this field looks a little different than the one we were just in. And I got these habitat patches here right now, so I got these big patches, and you know what, the deer, the turkey, the rabbits, the quail, they're all using them. I've seen them all in here. They're using it, so I'm sure they're loving this nice cover. And then I just got these nice trails here cut throughout. You can see the post I still got to remove. I already removed all the wire fencing from here, the old electric fencing. So I still got a lot of posts to pull. I still got more wire to remove. I got quite a bit. It goes all the way down into the woods and everything. They used to have horses and I think donkeys and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go check out the Douglas firs, but I need to grab a couple materials with me. I had just staked them because down where I planted them, they get smashed by a southwest wind pretty good. And the trees are about 3 foot tall now. They were potted trees when I planted them. And so I staked them and I used some string to tie them up, but I want to put a little buffer between the string and the bark so it's not abrasively pushing against it when the wind blows. So we're going to stop at the cabin, see what the wife's doing, grab some of the materials, and then we'll head down to the Douglas firs. I'll show you what they look like. Maybe we'll stop at the hazelnut trees that I planted too, and I'll tell you about them. So let's continue. All right, folks, we are back. Had a little bit of coffee at the cabin, and we're going to go to the Douglas firs and do a little project. But I thought I'd stop and show you my hazelnut trees I planted here. So I planted 10 of these right on the edge of this big field. And my goal with these is to have them as a big screening like wall. They'll grow up nice and big and wide. They'll form a nice wall here. Plus they'll be a food source for wildlife and for us. Hazelnuts, they're yummy. But the reason I did that is because there's some openings here and the road's about a little over 100 yards. People can see through here, see into this field. So I am going to plant some stuff in these openings. You can see I got some nice big pines as a screening here. Nice big mature pines. So I'll be filling these in. But the main reason for this particular field is so wildlife can come out in this field, feel comfortable. Right, there'll be a nice wall of hazelnuts here, and the driveway's right here. So if we're coming in, it'll shield our movement a bit too. So again, if there's deer, turkey, whatever out here, they'll feel safe. They'll have some cover and some screening. So I planted 10 of these. You can see they're thriving. Right, some of these are looking really good. I planted them bare root. They're already growing really well, except for 3 of them. So 3 of them were not viable. They haven't done anything, but I got them from Arbor Day. They have that guarantee. It's like a year guarantee, so they'll send me new ones, so I'll probably have to do that. Now the only problem is these Japanese beetles have been getting in here. Look at them. So I gotta get these Japanese beetles off here because they're eating the leaves. I noticed some over here too. I think there was some on this one. So I'm just kind of wiggling them off for now. Yeah. I mean, you could use insecticide and stuff like that for them. I'm not a fan of any sort of chemicals. I don't like to use chemicals at all, just for my own health and even the health of the plants and the trees and stuff like that. I'm not into the insecticide unless it's natural stuff. And I don't know much about these Japanese beetles, but I don't think they could do long-term damage except for the leaves, right? But as far as the tree itself, yeah, there's a bunch of them around here. I'm gonna have to figure something out for them. But you can see these hazelnuts are doing really good, right? And then like this one, right? It didn't take. And there's another one there. Doing good, looking good. So those are the hazelnuts. There's the gate. If you watch the gate video, did the gate. But let's go ahead and walk down to the Douglas firs. I'll show you those. So I got this trail that I cut through here with my brush cutter. The driveway's right here. You can't really see it. I got some nice screening material here, different trees and shrubbery, some openings here. But ultimately, I want to close in all of this property so people can't see into it and wildlife will feel comfortable in it. But all right, let's go on down to the old Douglas firs here. All right, so we're getting down towards the Douglas firs. You can see where the driveway comes through. It starts right here. Here's the road. So earlier we were way up here on the top of this field. There's a slight gradual slope down to the corner of the property line here. So I'm definitely going to fill some stuff in here. I'm going to let some of these trees and shrubs grow up, create a nice screen, but I definitely don't want people from the road to be able to see in here. So I'll be doing the green giants up along that. I'll be putting some stuff in here, maybe some Nellie Stevens holly, maybe even some of the other evergreens I can put in here. So I want it to look nice, but I really ultimately want to create privacy and screening for wildlife and for our property in general. Okay, here's the Douglas firs. So you can see they're, you know, a couple feet tall, 2 to 3 feet tall each one. I got 3 of them that I planted right on the corner of the property. So I'm about 30 yards from the road. I want these things to grow up real big. They grow fast and they create nice windbreak screening. It's going to look, and they look very majestic. So as they grow up, they'll look good. So I planted them kind of in this 3-point triangle formation. So they're a little staggered. So you got a lead one and 2 back ones. And they're looking good. They're looking like they are taken well. So what I want to do for this little project we're going to do here, you can see I got this string and I got these stakes. And I like to repurpose things, right? They sell materials for specifically staking the trees and all that. I like to repurpose stuff here from the property. So I got some string that I had. I got these old posts that I've been pulling, these T-posts for the fencing, reusing them. Repurposing, and then I'm going to use some. I found a ton of weather stripping in the garage here when I bought the property, so I'm going to use this to create a nice buffer on that string, so when it is windy, and you can see there's a little bit of wind right now pushing against these trees, that string is an abrasive against the bark of the young tree. So we're just going to slice a little bit of this, wrap it around the string, and create a nice little cushion for the pushing. All right, so let's get to it. So here's the third one. So we'll start with this one here. So I'll just put you guys right in here so you can see what I'm doing here. Right, so you can see that string. It's a little taut. 2 of them are taut already because after I planted this, it was a little windy, and when I came back to check on them, I noticed that they are all leaning except for one of them. And so I came down and staked them because this is the southwest corner of the property, so that wind comes out of the south and the west pretty regularly. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just get under this string. I got this nice sticky weather stripping here. I'm just gonna wrap it around this string, see if we can make this work. Okay, so it doesn't look super pretty, but you can see I got it wrapped, bunched up here. It's nice and sticky, so it's holding on there. You can see some pine needles. But as that wind, the idea here is this wind blows like that, right? It's going to push against that cushioning that I made for the tree instead of against this thin rope, which could be a bit abrasive to the bark. These trees are pretty hardy, so it's probably not even absolutely necessary, but if we get some serious winds, which occasionally we do, this will be protected. So just a little something to help protect these new plants or new trees that I put in. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right, so there's the second one. I did a little bit better this time around. Looks pretty good. Little cushion for the pushing, baby. All right, so that was the last one. You can see this string's a little loose because this tree was actually fine. Like, it wasn't leaning when I came in the other day. So I got it there ready, so if the wind does blow, it's got that cushion. So I think we're good. So we got these three staked. They got their cushion for the pushing once again. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll definitely be bringing more as I kind of work on the different projects here at the cabin, at the property. And as always, I appreciate you joining in. So thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you.
When I saw it's West Side Story, when I saw it's just a ride.